to have a mental health challenge or issue or problems or disorder or anything. And I gave my response. And one of the things that we are trying to bring together is that we are trying to know that there's a place of the soul of the mind. When Pastor told me that I will be having this session, I was so happy because the church, we need it. We all need it because of the place of our minds to get to functionality despite the situational stressors occurring in our different places, at work, at place of work, in the church, at home, or in our different areas. So we are talking about this gaining emotional stability. Let me read an introduction from here. It's a clinical introduction from a patient that expresses concern. And I read, in most part of my life, I feel strong, confident, and stable. But when I am around my family, especially around my parents, I struggle a lot with self-doubt and insecurity. Even the smallest worries or fears send me into spirals of anxiety and overwhelm. It is so frustrating. How can I learn to become more emotionally stable, especially when it comes to anxieties and insecurities? When it comes to anxieties and insecurities. Now, when we talk about emotions, we all need emotions. But one of the things that define us as a human being is our emotions. And even in the clinical settings, one of the features when it comes to making a diagnosis of a psychopathology is that there is always emotional dysfunctionality in every presenting complaint of an individual. And this shows to us the necessity for us to be able to regulate our emotions in a proper way that it will affect our interpersonal relationship, it will affect our own mind, and it will affect our functionality in our different places. So, experiencing negative emotions like anxiety, anger, sadness are all incredibly common and are perfectly normal part of human being. Sometimes we get sad. Sometimes we get happy. Sometimes we have a downside of life. And we can't deny this. It's just the reality of life. Because through our emotions, we are able to relate to both pleasant and unpleasant situations. If, let's say that something happened and someone, something's happened, someone that is so dear to you, you lose the person, and instead there's an emotion expected of you to display. You at that moment you ought to be displaying maybe crying emotions, feeling of sadness, and the person is not laughing. You know that something is getting you wrong somewhere, and there's a particular emotions expected of the person to display based on the unpleasant situations, and there's a particular emotion expected of the person to display based on the unpleasant situations. Now, and when we are talking about emotional stability or instability, there is a continuum. There's a range between it. And in the course of the discussion, we look into the range when it becomes a problem and when it's normal for adjustment in life. As I said, that most psychopathological conditions have a diagnostic criteria of emotional dysfunctionality. Hence, the need to learn how to balance our emotions in order to have healthy mental lifestyles. It's a work. It's a work. And thank God for today, for this year theme is a wise life. One of the areas that we ought to demonstrate wisdom is an area of our mental lifestyle. It's our areas of our emotions, how we regulate our lives. What is mental health? When we talk about mental health is just our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, our ability to solve problems and overcome difficulties, our social connections, our understanding of the world around us. So these are some of the areas that we look into when we are maybe seeing patients. The content of your thoughts, your thought pattern, your emotions. How is your emotion? What is the state of your emotions? And when we talk about emotions, there are different types of emotions. It's possible for someone to be having a particular emotions, and he even does not know the kind of emotion he's having. It might not even, they're different, but we are so conversant with sadness, some happiness, and some other things. Emotions, what some we call emotional realm, is we have like almost 50 types of emotions. 50 types of emotions. If one of the things that we do when we are working with patients with emotional dysfunctionality is to give an emotional worksheet. We first understand your emotions. What emotions am I experiencing? So when we talk about mental health, we're talking about our emotions. We're talking about your feelings, ability to solve problems and overcome difficulties. How do you solve problems? How do you overcome difficulties? And your social connections. Sometimes some presenting complaints may come with social withdrawal, which is just that I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like going to people. I don't feel like coming together. I was treating a patient with schizophrenia. And one of the predominant symptoms was a paranoid symptoms, which accompanies a social withdrawal. For like almost a year, someone who loves going to church, loves his social activity is just church. And because of the symptoms, he tends to withdraw. And because due to a paranoid belief. And from there now, the social withdrawal happened because of the emotions of I don't feel like. So for the patient to get ill is to first deal with the emotions. So this depicts the importance of our emotions when it comes to social connectivity, relating to people, talking to people, moving with people is all around the state of our emotions. Understanding of the world around us. Mental health is all about understanding of the world. Still on a patient with a schizo. A patient was once asked that, what can you say about the world? It was said that the world is upside down. You know the world is upside down. That is when it comes to schizo symptoms. What of someone without such symptoms? The Bible said that the world is wicked. That is the understanding, that is the mental state of the person. The world is wicked. The world is you have to survive on your own. It's because of the mental state of the person. The world, people in the world are wicked. Now, when such person sits beside another person, he tends to be afraid. He tends to be because he has programmed his mind that the world is wicked. So you don't even know the person beside you. You have to safeguard yourself. And that is even the state we are now in Nigeria, that everybody is just trying to, because there's a definition of the world that's affecting our mental health and affecting relationship, that the world is wicked. Things are bad. What? Okay. Okay. Well, I'd love us to project. I have a diagram here. It's like a fulcrum. A fulcrum. There is underneath it. There is a stone holding it. Yes. I don't have flash. Yes. If there's a flash, it's can get it connected. So let's wait for it to be displayed. So, okay, so the diagram is like it's a fulcrum showing the state of equilibrium. Underneath the diagram, there are two stones. There are two stones there. The first, this right side, they are loads. The second, the left side, they are also loads. Now, what the load symbolize, the load, each of the loads are standing for situations, pressures, and some difficulties that an individual might confront in the journey of life. Now, what position what position it to still be standing is because of the stones underneath the table. The stones stand for social support. The stones stand for social connectivities. The stones stand for social engagement, which as human beings we all need. Let's say the stone is not there, the table will get disorganized. It won't stand. Now, emotional stability or instability. One of the fundamental aspects of a person's mental health and general well-being is the emotional stability. Now, when we talk about emotional stability, some people might be asking that what is the meaning of emotional stability? Does it mean that I will not feel my emotions? Does it mean that I will not, I will try not to express myself because I'm feeling this way? Because most of the time we were taught that, when you are feeling this way, just try not to be like that. Such thought or action might be detrimental to someone's mental health. So emotional stability refers to the ability to maintain calm. It refers to the ability to maintain calm, mental clarity, and a balanced attitude in the face of different situations and challenges that arise in life. Ability to maintain calm, mental clarity, and a balanced attitude in the face of different situations and challenges that arise in life. Ability to have a mental clarity of what you want to do despite difficulty, despite life stressors. It does not mean repressing your emotions, or pretending you do not feel certain things. It's not about you are repressing the emotions. Sometimes when I was seeing a patient, and due to a traumatic event, and we're just having assessment, and he was just crying and crying while remembering the scenario. And a lay person might say, okay, don't cry, it's enough, it's okay. You cry because that is your emotion that you are expressing at that time. It's not that you are repressing the emotions. It's not that you are trying to feel as if this does not happen. Expressing your emotion healthily, when it's not beyond the continuum, is healthy. So at that moment, it's just that, it's not you are repressing your emotion. Most of the time when we repress our emotions, when something just happened, that's something that is even beyond you to get angry, spark, it will just, the repressed emotion will just surface, because over time you have bottled it down within you, you have put it down, and you don't talk, you don't express yourself, you don't, expressing yourself assertively. It's very important when it comes to expressing your emotions. So when you repress your emotion, it becomes a problem. If at that moment it tends to, a little thing can just trigger it, and there will be problem, or there will be mental health problem. So on the contrary, emotional stability refers to when an individual experiences frequent emotional instability refers to when an individual experiences frequent and intense, easily aroused changes in emotions. When there's not frequent and intense emotional changes that may be considered disproportionate to events and circumstances. When now there is, let's say we are discussing now, and something that does not even require shouting, getting angry about, and the person just, maybe someone just say something, they just tends to get angry, aggressive behavior, and some other things. From there now, you know that this emotion is out of proportionality, and the person might needs to work on himself so that there won't be a problem thereafter. What are the causes of emotional stability? Emotional instability, rather. What are the causes of emotional instability? One is trauma. When there is a traumatic event that has not yet been resolved, there will be emotional instability in an individual. An example, let's say now someone who was traumatized of sexually. Anytime he sees a guy coming, a man coming, he tends to get afraid and say, oh, this guy is coming to me to talk to me. I don't know the kind of person he is. From there now, there is fear, there is anxiety, there is discomfort because of a traumatic event. These are life experiences that we also most of the times see in the clinic. Another traumatic event that might be causing emotional instability, let's talk about addiction. Maybe due to traumatic event, the person wants to always feel good, always feel high, always want to feel himself, because this emotion is not stable. And that is why when you see anyone always taking substance, doing some things, is because there's a traumatic event that is using the substance to just cope with your life. So when there's a traumatic event, there's tendency for emotional instability to happen. Because the moment the person gets triggered by what caused that traumatic event, there will be instability in the emotions. And when there's instability in the emotion, there will be instability in the behaviors. Maybe let's say now we are here now and we are just discussing about something. And I mentioned a particular thing. Because the person was traumatized based on what I mentioned, at that moment, there will be instability in the emotions. A fear can just pop up. Anxiety can just set in because of the traumatic event that has happened. Another causes of emotional instability is environmental stressors. There's environmental stressors currently in Nigeria. There's bandits. There is this economical stressors. So environmental stressors can also cause emotional instability. Mental health disorder. When there is a mental health disorder, there is going to be emotional instability within an individual of anxiety. There is a current ADHD now, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Most of the symptoms of ADHD is emotional dysregulation. People cannot just sit down somewhere as he's sitting down here. You are sitting at the back. As he's going on, is here. It's emotional dysregulation. So we have that. We have autism spectrum disorders, another mental health disorder. Anxiety issue is another causes of emotional instability. Then personality predisposition. Now we have someone with neuroticism, with a neurotic personality. A neurotic personality, what it means is that it tends to put everything on himself. Let's say that pastor said that, okay, this chair is not well arranged. And if I want to talk, I will have arranged this chair better. Maybe it's not even the one that arranged the chair. Or maybe it's just around where they arranged the chair. All the blame tends to put it on himself. It's because I'm not good like this. It's because this is happening this way. Maybe because the fault is me. So a neurotic person tends to have emotional instability. Also, an extrovert person. An extrovert person tends to have emotional instability in the context of overly stimulated. It's always high. An extrovert is talk, get home, disorganized, put chairs here, put this one here. Is an indication of overly stimulated. Overly stimulated. The person is overly stimulated. Any small thing now, he wants to get high, feel himself. And so there's personality predisposition for emotional instability. And when you observe that you tend to have a particular personality that has not become a character, there is a way you can bring your personality to character. Here now, we know that what is expected on a formal gathering is to be calm, to be quiet, to hear what the speaker is saying. And let's say an extrovert now enter this place, and as he's touching one person, he's touching another person. As he's collecting pen, he's taking another person's bottle of water. As he's not comfortable sitting down. Such personality has not become a character. So there is a way you work on your personality to become a character for stability of emotions. How emotional stability affects mental health? When your emotion is stable, how does it affect your mental health? One is there will be greater coping capacity. There will be greater coping capacity. You will be able to cope. Now, that's what we call unhealthy coping capacity. Unhealthy coping capacity could be that maybe avoidance behavior, maybe substance use. Every substance user wants to cope with a particular traumatic situation, with a particular memory that keeps intruding the mind. So such engage in an unhealthy coping capacity. And when you go to universities, go to different, every time we see cases of substance use, is predominant now. And such person is using unhealthy coping capacity. But a person with emotional stability tends to look for, okay, what are the coping capacity that are healthy that I can use for my mental health? We will talk about some coping capacity that we can use for our mental health. Another positive side effect of emotional stability is lower tendency of mental disorders. Lower tendency of mental disorders. Another one is greater satisfaction in interpersonal relationships. Greater satisfactions. Does it mean that you will not find someone who will offend you? No, even at the workplace. Does it mean that you will not see a situation that will get you sad, present itself with unpleasant feelings and some things? But when it comes to stabilizing your emotions, It helps in interpersonal relationship. It helps to communicate. You are not just focusing on the person's. If you are living your life based on feelings, you tend to have more problems. I feel this person is doing this way, and you want to do that impact to the person. There will be problem with interpersonal relationship. And because of that, as we prayed about that, God should maybe help us with someone who will take us to a greater height. From there, you are having problems, because the problem now is not even the devil. The problem is the emotions that is unstable. Greater resilience in the face of adversity. Of recent, so at the time I did the research on resilience among undergraduates, and one of the things I found out is people with high resilience tend to have little or moderate depression. But people with low resilience tend to have more and severe depression. And this age generation now, we have low level of resilience. There's a term that we always hear: I am invisible. I don't know if you have heard this before. I am invisible. Someone, a university student or someone can just tell his parents that, Mommy, you might not see me tomorrow. I am invisible. I am this. What the person is saying is that anything can happen. I've seen a 14-year-old student, secondary student, who are engaged in suicidal attempts because of being bullied, because of being spoken of in the school. So that this resilience level has reduced. Resilience level in this generation has reduced. That's why we tend to have more mental health problems. People, you find it difficult to be. There's some traditional things that beat resilience. Also, was talking about when he walked, he didn't know that Dad was still speaking, and he walked, and maybe something happened. Now, if you do that now to Gen Z, it becomes a problem, because I know that my dad does not like me. I know that he's always seeing my not good side. There will be different explanation to it. And because of that, we are having low level of resilience. And resilience is ability to bounce back in the face of adversity. Ability that you bounce back. You come back to your functionality despite the not so good side of life that happened. Now, also, good healthy emotional stability will help healthy physical well-being, which helps our healthy physical well-being. How emotional instability affects mental health? When there is emotional instability, how it affects mental health? One is maybe impulsivity. There will be impulsiveness. The person will be impulsive. There will be impulsive. Even in taking decisions, you will be asking yourself, has the person not prayed for wisdom? He has prayed for wisdom, and God has given wisdom because he's impulsive. And he tends to make wrong decisions. So, because of that, impulsivity tends to, you want to be there, you want to be here, you want to be there, no time to calm down. Irritability, there will be irritability. Everybody becomes your enemy. Everybody becomes someone that always does things that you don't like. Right? Because you are irritable due to emotional instability. There will be chronic anxiety. When there is emotional instability, there will be chronic anxiety. There will be inability to manage stress. We can't avoid stress. Stress is good, but when it tends to becomes a problem when it's now leading to a distress. When it's distress is affecting your functionality, affecting your decision, affecting your relationship. So inability to manage stress comes when there's emotional instability. Low self-esteem. Low self-esteem tends to play when there's emotional instability. I'm not good. I'm not a good person. And I'm this, I'm that, because of the way we are feeling. But people don't listen to me when I'm talking. It's because of the way you feel. At that moment, you have put your feelings to affect your sense of judgment because of your emotions. Also, social withdrawal. There will be social withdrawal due to emotional instability. There will be also physical symptoms. What are the skills for emotional stability? How can we stabilize our emotion? Not repressing your emotions, not hiding from your emotions, not being shy of emotion. What are the skills for emotional stability? One is define your emotions. Define your emotions. This is the way I am feeling. This is the way I'm feeling. And it's not bad for you to define your emotions. It's not sometimes when a patient comes to the clinic and said, "Oh, how are you doing?" Say, "I'm fine." If you are fine, you are not meant to be in the hospital. You are not meant to come for the clinic. So let's know the way you are feeling. And defining your emotion is not that you are not having faith. It's not that you are not believing God. The pastor that led the prayer said something. He said, the first way to have wisdom is to know that you first lack wisdom. So know that this is the way I'm feeling. So when you are able to define your emotions, then you tend to journey with emotional stability. When you have defined the emotion, is accept the emotion. Accept the emotions you have. Accept without judgment. Oh, I should not be feeling this way. I speak in tongues now. How will I be feeling this? How will I be feeling sad? But you are feeling sad. How will I be? So accept the emotions you are having without judgment. Don't judge yourself because you are having such emotion. Accept. When it tends to judge yourself, it affects your mental clarity of what to do. So accept your emotion. The next thing is be aware of your emotion. Be aware, creates a sense of self-awareness. Be aware of your emotion. Then after that is you practice assertiveness. Practice assertiveness, assertive communication. When it comes to assertive communication, due to the way you are feeling, you are not trying to cover the situation. You are trying to express yourself, not being rude, not being arrogant, but being assertive. You describe the situation. You don't put your feelings first. Put your feelings first, show that you are being rude. That's not assertiveness. You describe the way the situation is to the person. You describe the way either you are feeling or to interpersonal relationship. You describe the situation. After you have described the situation, from there is let the person knows about your feelings. I've been expecting to come around 10 a.m. But this is 2 p.m. You just appeared. I don't feel good about it. That is, now, when you want to express yourself, when you first express your feelings and you are not describing the situation, it becomes a problem because to the person you are talking to also has an ego that wants to defend himself. So you first let the person first see the situation, that this is the situation. Oh, from there you are creating the sense to the person that, oh, I want to come by 10, but I'm coming by 2 p.m. From there you are not being aggressive and say, oh, we've all concluded that we are coming by this time. Why are you not coming this and that? From there you are being aggressive. And the person also will reciprocate such behavior back to you. So you practice assertiveness. There are different skills to practice assertiveness. Also, you replace self-criticism with self-compassion. This is for someone with traumatic experience, that from there now has believed that, oh, my life is this and that. There are different ways to engage in self-compassion. Good enough. I always tell, when I go for seminar, maybe in the church, tell people that as Christians, we have advantages. advantages. The word of God is there for us to replace self-criticism with self-compassion. Just that you are doing it and it's helping you. So you replace self-criticism with self-compassion. There are some scriptures that you can use to love yourself despite the traumatic event, despite what you have had, what you have been told, maybe or this child, you are this, you are that, you are not going to be good in life. And anytime you want to do something, the memory of it just comes to you, and just sometimes you get tired. And because of that, so you can look for some things that will help you to love yourself. Also, when you are upset, listen to your quiet emotions. In every one of us, we have a quiet emotion. To the person that is shouting, that is being aggressive, inherently within the person, there's a quiet emotions that you need to be calm. But we tend to listen to the louder emotions than we listen to the quiet emotions. The person that is shouting, I want to do this, I'm not, life is tired to me, life is this and that. Inherently within the person, there's a quiet emotion that if you can just listen to it, it will show physiologically and the body will respond to it to be calm. So we all have a quiet emotion that is not as loud to the aggressive emotions, to the unstable emotions that we can listen to. Also, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness, not mindfulness. Practice mindfulness, not mind that is full. You can have a mind that is full. That is not mindfulness. Mindfulness is you are conscious of your here and now. If I tell us to close our eyes now and just mention, if I say we should close our eyes and mention 4 objects that is in this place. Some people might not be able to mention anything more than the standing fan, because though they are here, but they are not mindful of their environment. We just get to your home and go, okay. Sometimes I don't know if it has happened to us before, and you will observe that, okay, this wall, this object has been placed here for years. Maybe the day it comes to your awareness, that is when you now realize, this thing has been here for long. It's because at that moment is when you tend to be mindful. So mindfulness is that you are aware of your environment. You are aware of your emotions. You are aware of your mind. That is, you are practicing mindfulness. You just get to a point, the first thing to scan is, okay, there's a chair here that this is for pastors. There's a TV. You are aware. You can be in the place for years and you are still a stranger in that place. Your mind is still strange to the place. So you practice mindfulness. Also, find healthy activities that calm you down. When you are emotionally unstable, find healthy activities that can calm you down. There are different activities that might be. What is good to me might not be good to you. What is healthy to you might not be healthy to me. So you find healthy activities that can calm you down. Some people now, when they are stressed, that's not the time that they should go and eat. They will just tend to be overeating. They tend to eat and eat and eat and eat. At that moment, the people will say, I'm not full now. Because your stress, what ought to calm you down is not food. And some people, the moment they are stressed, they can just take water, bathe, they are off. But some people, they tend to overeat more when they are stressed. So know what calm you down. So cultivate resilience. Cultivate resilience. Cultivate resilience. There are ways we assess resilience. And one of the first things we do in the clinic is when the patient comes, is to assess resilience level. Now, know your resilience level. What is my resilience level? What is my resilience state? And from there now, you will be able to know that, okay, how I'm responding to life, is it based on these situations or the way I've been affected? So you cultivate resilience. Also, you surround yourself with good people, social support. The fulcrum I showed earlier, underneath it, it symbolizes good social support. Surround yourself with good people. Take care of your physical well-being. Be authentic. Be real to yourself. Be real. Know yourself. That's what we call authentic self-image. And that's what we call authentic self-image. And that's what we call the real self-image. Authentic self-image is your person. Many people are not being authentic now in the face of social media. Social media is defining your life for you. People around you is defining your life for you. You tend not to even understand your self-image. Tend not to even understand your person. And from there now, you have a distorted self-image. You are confused about your person because you are not being authentic. So be authentic. Know yourself. Define your person. When they say, sometimes when I give some clinical assignment to some patients, and they say, okay, I don't even know myself. I thought I've known myself before. I don't even know myself at all. One patient was telling me that he tends to be asking some people about himself. So there are some things that when we give as some clinical assignment out, and people tend to say, I thought I've known myself. I don't even know that this is me at all. So you want to work on yourself through clinical assignments to understand that, okay, this is my person. You are real. That is the beginning of being real to yourself. And from there now, you tend to know that when something is coming around, it's not your person, so you can't subscribe to it. From there, you have developed a positive self-image about yourself. Also, the last skill mentioned here is spirituality, not religion. Spirituality has a way to help your emotional stability, how to be stable. There are different. So I was seeing a patient, and some traumatic events has happened. The next thing she mentioned was, "Sir, I'm also a religious person. I also go to church, but that is not my area, so whether religious or not. But spirituality is very important when it comes to mental health. We cannot remove spirituality from mental health. And that's why I said earlier that in a gathering like this, we should be appreciative that we are hearing some words that can help us, not just for our spiritual well-being, even for our psychological well-being. The words are not just for our spiritual well-being, for our psychological well-being, for interpersonal relationship, know some things, avoid some things, how to live mentally, and so on. So spirituality helps in the context of maybe confession. Through the scriptures, you want to engage in confessions. Maybe a thought is going to happen in your mind, some negative automatic thoughts due to some traumatic event that happens, or some things that occurred, or the way you have been programmed to see life. Because of that, you tend to be affected. And spirituality can help you to see life another way through your belief system. So it can help you to stabilize your emotion. So our spirituality helps, not just for spiritual knowledge alone, but also for our mental health and for our emotions. In conclusion, emotional stability is an essential aspect of our mental health. By developing good stability, you develop it. It's a work. It's not going to happen automatically. It's a work. I think last week I was at work and we wanted to have a departmental meeting, and before a message was earlier sent that the meeting, we ought to have it by 2. So it was shifted to 10. I was not online. I did not know. I rushed down for the meeting. And when I got to the department, I was told that they have done the meeting. I was angry. I said, is that the way to just change meeting suddenly and some of that? And the consultant I was expressing my emotion. The consultant was beside me and said, you are a clinical psychologist now. How will you be, how will you be sad? Say, I'm sad about this thing. It doesn't mean I should repress my emotions, but I'm sad. So I was now asking myself, I said, okay, you are building yourself. You are developing your emotions. So know that you are developing your emotions. Having been aware that emotional stability is very important. It might seem as if you don't try, but you are trying. You are giving an effort. Maybe before you are dysregulated emotionally, but now you have and some skills that you want to. Among the skills listed, just pick the one that can work for you. There are many. They are just like first aid. Just pick the one that can work for you, and you stay with it. Measure it. Let's say today now you engage in mindfulness. Okay, how mindful am I today? Rate yourself. You get improved the next day. You get improved the next day. From there, you tend to have stability in the emotions. So you are developing good emotional stability. So you can enjoy greater serenity, balance, and satisfaction in life, facing challenges and difficulties with greater strength and mental clarity. So there will be things that will stress us. There will be things that will affect us. There will be life challenges that will happen to us. So when you have worked on yourself to gain stability in your emotions, there will be mental clarity and there will be greater strength to face the challenges. And from there, you still maintain your healthy mental lifestyle. Thank you for listening. Ask the question.